Hey everybody, thanks for clicking that thumbnail and welcome to Talking Habs. And in this video, I'm going to ask the question, is it time to panic yet for the Montreal Canadiens and for their fans? And the reason I ask this question is the game last night, I guess. So I'm filming this the day after the Montreal Canadiens lost at home, shut out at home by the Edmonton Oilers, a team that they had pretty much dominated in the two games that they had played against them earlier in the season. And considering the loss to Toronto the game before and the loss to the Ottawa Senators, which is the worst team in the division, just a couple games before that. And you got to ask yourself, is it time to panic? So I'm going to take a look at some bad stuff, some good stuff, and try to figure out what it is. Panic, don't panic. And before we get to that, if you are a Habs fan like I am, and you want to see some more Habs videos, live streams, contests, and all that kind of stuff, please subscribe, ring that notifications bell. That's down underneath there. And that'll get you your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge right here at Talking Habs. And if you have any comments about this video, anything I'm saying here, please leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know if you think it's time to panic. Are you panicking? Let me know in the comment section. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And let's get right into it. So, is it time to panic yet for the Montreal Canadiens? So let's take a look. Montreal right now is 8-4-2. That's 14 games into the season. That's 25% of the season. They have 18 points. They're in second, tied for second now in the division with Edmonton. Now, if you prorate that out to the full season, it's 25%. Just go 4 times. It comes out to 32, 16, and 8. Good for 72 points, and that would be in the full 56 games. You got to figure that's at least good enough for a playoff spot. I don't know if 72 points wins the division, really, but at least you're looking at there's still a playoff team. So that's good. But that's where they stand right now. Now, in the last 4 games, they have scored only 6 goals in the last 4 games, and I say only because in the previous 4 games, they had scored 15 goals. But you can temper that by saying 2 of those games were against Vancouver and they scored 11 goals in those 2 games. But it's still 15 goals in the previous 4 games compared to the 6 goals in the last 4. Overall this season, they have scored 50 goals in the 14 games. That is a good thing, but again, temper it by looking and seeing 28 goals against Vancouver in 5 games. That's great stats against one team, but that's more than half of their goals against one team, and that's worrisome. That's something to worry about because they're not playing Vancouver every single game, so they're not going to have this kind of goal scoring. So it kind of looks like it's almost a mirage, the amount of goals and the fact that we're right up at the top of the league scoring goals and all that stuff. So that's something to worry about. Price is inconsistent. Now, it's not that he's been horrible and he's totally shitting the bed, but he's been inconsistent. Maybe one of the worst goals I've ever seen him give up was that goal, I guess it was the 3rd one, the slap shot straight on, and I don't know that it tipped off of somebody's stick. I guess not. Nobody else talking about it. I kind of thought it did, but he kind of really missed it. He hung his head after. He knew he missed it, and So like he's inconsistent. He's made some great saves, and he's had some good games, and he's had some poor ones. So Price inconsistent, and it seems to be every year, the beginning of the year, we find this happening with Carey Price. D is not as mobile as at least I thought. I thought the D would be a little bit more mobile than they are right now. They need puck movers and more speed on the D. So, but I knew this going in. Puck movers, I don't know where they were going to come from. Basically, Jeff Petrie and then Victor Mete's a puck mover, but he wasn't going to be playing regularly. Alex Romanov's a puck mover, but he's a rookie. He's going to have his bad games. He's going to make his mistakes, all that kind of stuff. So it's 2 puck movers on the regulars, and it's going to be a problem. And it's turning out to be a bit of a problem. And the fact that they're not as mobile as I thought. I kind of thought Edmondson would be a little bit more mobile than he's shown right now. And yeah, it's turning out to be a bit of a problem. power play is a problem. They're road warriors on the power play, or they're home snowflakes. That's how I termed it. And what I mean by that is that their road power play is good. Last year, their road power play was, I think, third best in the league. So, I mean, that's great. But when they come back home, it's like 30th, and it seems to be happening again. Started out on the road. First 6 games on the road, their power play was good. Numbers were good. Come back home, start playing at home, and then numbers are down and they're falling every game. And it's worrisome. So why is that? That's the question I've been asking. Why is that? Why can they be so much better on the road and then come home? You can say, well, it's the pressure of the fans. Okay, that's fine for up to this year, but this year there's no fans in the stands, so there's no pressure by the fans. So it's not that. So to me, if they can pinpoint what's going on differently at home as opposed to what they're doing on the road, that would be like a good thing in figuring out what's wrong with the power play and fixing it. So that's worrisome, is that power play with new personnel, changed up a little bit. Their system of the power play changed up a little bit, and they're still having the same thing. Good on the road, bad at home. So I don't know what it is with that. Face-off won percentage. It's hurting their results, but this isn't something that is a surprise, right? Because they're young guys, inexperienced down the middle. Now, I'll give credit to Jake Evans, because Jake Evans right now is sitting with just over 50% for the season so far for faceoffs. So he seems to have it figured out. But Nick Suzuki and KK Jesperi Kotkaniemi, they seem to be having problems still. So, but this is kind of expected. They're young, they're learning. They got to get that going. It might not fall into place this season for them. So face-offs are going to be a problem probably all season, maybe even into next, because these guys are inexperienced down the middle. Is recent history repeating itself? What do I mean by that? These quick starts and then the drop-offs. I think last year, again, we were 7-1-2. We started off this season. Maybe it was 7-2-1. It was close enough. And they drop off, and we're already... Is this a drop-off? Is it just a mini slump? I think it's just a mini slump. I think, but we don't know, right? And everyone's panicking over that. It's 4 games now. We got Toronto coming up next again, and then we go on a week off and then face Toronto again. So that's 2 games against the division-leading team. And if they don't have it figured out by then, if it's not panic time now, it's panic time then. So that's that's repeating itself. It seems like the last 3-4 years, we start off good and have a drop-off. There might have been 1 year where we totally sucked all year. Bad coaching decisions seem to be... I don't know, every year I seem to be like at least 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 times a season go like, is he serious? Putting either the combination, not pulling a goalie, whatever it is, the decision, there's bad coaching decisions. That's a problem, and that's history repeating itself. Right now, people are calling for Claude Julien's head. If they weren't before this, and they were last season, and all that kind of stuff. So if they weren't before, they're calling for it again. Should we make a coaching change? I mean, this is a problem, and this is a panic thing. Toffoli's inconsistent, right? If he's not playing against Vancouver, I don't know. He's got 8 goals and 2 assists. 10 of his 13 points or something like that are against Vancouver. He's not, we got 4 more games against Vancouver. That's it. It's not like, oh, we got another 10 games against Vancouver. That would be great. Maybe we wouldn't have to panic. But so Toffoli is inconsistent. And I put the question mark there. Is he on the wrong line? So in that he's playing on the third line with KK and Armia. And maybe there needs to be some line juggling here and be creative with how the lineup is. And I think Toffoli maybe needs to be moved up. Playing on the wrong side. He's on the left. Maybe he needs to go back to the right. I don't know, but he's inconsistent. Of the new guys, it seems like to me Toffoli's inconsistent right now. So that's a problem. Is there enough depth on the defense? So we're already seeing they're not as mobile as I would have liked to see. They don't have enough puck movers there. What if one of them gets hurt? What if one of the puck movers gets hurt? Is there enough depth? Victor Mete, sure, he's a puck mover, but he doesn't have the size of the other guys. So that could be a problem. But he's got ample speed. He's probably the fastest D there. And he can move the puck. His advanced stats are apparently off the charts. Getting the puck out of the zone, carrying it to the other zone. He really excels at that. Problem is his size, and they haven't really used him in the couple of games they have. He hasn't looked great, I have to say. So, is there an answer to that? What happens if one of the D gets hurt? I don't know if there's the depth there this year yet. We were hoping there was. There's more depth up front, but I don't know if there's enough here on the D, and that could be a problem. The core vets are struggling. By that I mean Thomas Tatar, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. He led the team last year in goals and points, and he's struggling. He's not looking great. He's struggling a bit defensively. He's just, I don't know, he's not the same player right now, and he's in a contract year, so you'd think there'd be the season, his career year. Phil Deneau, same thing. In a contract year, he's got no goals. Apparently no goals in, depending on where you read it, I've seen 36, 42, 33 games, but he's got no goals in a lot of games. And he's only got 5 assists for the season. He is looking kind of like he's maybe trying a little too hard out there to score, and maybe that's causing a problem. So, is that pending UFA status? Is that causing a problem for Tatar, for Deneau? That's worrisome. Galley, not that far off, but 5 goals, 2 assists so far in the 14 games, which is good, but it's not his usual. You kind of expect a little more. He's working out there, though. He's working. You can see the work effort, the work ethic, and it's just, I don't know. The point production's not there. I'm just worried. So is he struggling? Is it because there's more depth behind him in scoring? He doesn't need to score as much. I'm not sure, but still looks like he's struggling. Price, we just talked about, he's struggling. So the core depth for the veterans are definitely seem to be struggling so far. That's worrisome. And I question, is it for Tatar and Deneau, is it the pending UFA status for them? They're on expiring contracts. They're playing for new contracts. You wouldn't think this would be a year. Both of them not really performing. So I don't know. And finally, for the bad, there's no cap space really to make an adjustment, to bring somebody in, to make a trade where you got to take on some salary. There's no cap space to really fix it that way. So that's worrisome, because it's the first year in a while that we have been up to the cap. And sure, good stuff came from spending to the cap, but now that leaves us, when we're struggling here, I say I'm not playing on the Habs, I just wear their yeah. But now that they're struggling, the question is, what happens if you need to do something to make a change, somebody gets hurt and they can't go on the LTIR, and just there's no cap space, so that's a problem. Now, let's look at what's good and see if that outweighs the bad, and I'll come to a conclusion. So, Josh Anderson's been good. He's come in, he's got 9 goals in the first 14 games, and it's not all against Vancouver. That's spread out quite well, so he's not having any problems scoring. So all the question marks, of all the guys that came in, really, Anderson had the most question marks that we should have been worried about, and he's the main one that we're not. He's scoring, he's physical. So keep our fingers crossed that nothing, down the road of the season that happens. But he's been a real big bright spot. Yeah, we were all worried because of the contract he signed. Traded Max Domi for him. He didn't have 1 goal last season. He was hurt. He didn't play a lot. These were question marks, and he's answered them all. So that's a really good thing. And Jake Allen's come in and totally made us forget about every backup goalie that's been here for the last God knows how long. Jake Allen's been almost a godsend. He's been everything that he has advertised. His numbers are great. He's just been great. So that's been a really great thing, because we haven't had a backup in this town to have confidence. Now, the question on that one, though, is that what's wrong with Price? Maybe Price needs the workload, and he's kind of struggling because he's not getting the workload. I don't know. Everything he says is that he's happy with it all, but his performance is kind of not there. So I don't know. But Allen's been fantastic. And yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't even have the words there. I'm speechless. Alex Romanov, we've anticipated Romanov for what, 2 seasons now. He's finally here. Is he perfect? No. But does he look like he could be down the road? Yeah, I mean, he looks fantastic. He makes mistakes, but man, he can hit, he can skate, he moves the puck. He is not on the power play right now, but they tried him. I think one day he could be a power play quarterback. We'll see. He's got a pretty good shot. I don't know. He doesn't look like a rookie totally out there. Yeah, he'll make mistakes like a rookie does sometimes. Yeah, he's adjusting to the North American game, to the North American ice. He's got a lot of stuff on his plate, and he's looking good doing it. So it's been great. 50 goals in 14 games. Yeah, no matter where you get them from, 50 goals in 14 games. That's good. So it's just a little worrisome that they're from mostly on one team, or almost half of them, or a little more than half are on from one team. But still, 50 goals in 14 games. I couldn't help but put that up there. And to go along with that, they played 4 more against Vancouver. So they did 28 and 4 in 5 games. They get another 20 goals against Vancouver. So that's a good thing. Nick Suzuki started out a point a game. He's close, 12 points in 14 games. At this point, he's definitely, in my mind, and I think in most people's, assumed the number one center role. So that's a good thing going forward, that at his age, in his second season, he's been able to avoid, so far anyway, the sophomore jinx, and he's just looking good out there. And when he has a bad game, he admits to it, takes the responsibility, and then comes back with a good one. So Nick Suzuki's been great, as we all thought he would be. But anyways, he's been great. As has been the Drouin, Suzuki, Anderson line. That's the one line that's been consistent this whole 14 games, is those 3 guys. There's chemistry there between them. We kind of saw it with Suzuki and Drouin in the playoffs last season, but it's definitely there between the 2 of them. And you add Josh Anderson with the way he's playing, with his physicality, his size, it's just been fantastic. So that trio has been great. Joel Edmondson facing off against Tyler Myers after Myers did not get suspended for the headshot to Yoel Armia. That was really good because it helps the team to bond. It's just a good bonding thing. Somebody standing up for a guy if something happens to him. So hopefully more of that will continue when these things happen. There's someone there to stand up for the guy that gets hurt, right? So that was a good thing. Strong record versus the other Canadian teams the last 3 seasons. That's got to be, if you're leaning towards panicking, you got to look and say, well, the last 3 seasons they've done well against these teams. Montreal's a better team this year. They've fixed some of their problems. Sure, there's still a couple of problems. Every team has problems, but they look a lot better. The potential is there. The size is there. The physicality is there. And they've got a good record against these teams over the last 3 seasons. Yeah, that's got to be something to definitely offset some panic. Goals, I don't know. Team size has increased, as I just said. Team size has definitely gone up. Everybody they brought in, Edmondson, 6'4", I think, maybe 6'5". Anderson, 6'3", big guy. Toffoli is 6'1". Jake Allen is a goalie, but he's 6'3" or 6'2". He's not small. And then who else they bring? Romanov is at 6 foot, 208 pounds or 210 pounds by now. Hits like a Mack truck. Does anybody know what a Mack truck is anymore? Hits like a tank. It's called that. And so those are good things. Team size needed to be increased. We were a small team. Let's face it, we were a bit of a small team. Can't really say that anymore. And now the guys stand up for each other. It makes a big difference. Goals against decreased. I put that up there. I'm not 100% though. They've got 37 goals against in 14 games. Now, last season at the end, they were just a little bit more goals against than goals for. But I don't know at the beginning of last season, in that first 14 games, I don't know what their, I should have checked that. I don't know what their numbers were, But it seems to me like their goals against have decreased, even if it's just a little bit. But, you know, it's nothing to worry about. Better backup goalie, so more consistency in net, even though I just said Carey Price is being inconsistent. But you know what I mean. There's more consistency overall in net, and that's helped. And a potentially great goalie tandem in Price and Allen when Carey Price gets back on track, and he does every season. He does. At some point, he will. When they do, we know that that's potentially maybe the best goalie tandem in the league. That's something that's on a good side. I mean, that's something to also offset some of the panic. So, question as we get to the end of this video, is it time to panic yet? You know what? Honestly, I don't think it is. I did a video earlier today, the review for last night's game. And I had that question, and there's a time to panic. And I was kind of waffly on it. No, but maybe a little bit yes. But you know what? I think overall, no. Are we close to that time, though? I think we are. This is what I say. Depending how the game goes tomorrow, we could come out with a really good performance against Toronto tomorrow, and that would make a huge difference, and it could turn all that around. If that isn't the case, they have a week off where they can work on all these things that they need to work on and try to improve it and turn things around. And then there's that game on the 20th, also against Toronto. That's going to be the big test. For me, I'm not panicking until we get to that game, and if things are still heading south, that's when it's time to panic, maybe starting then. But I don't think it is yet. Sure, it's 4 games where they didn't score a lot and they lost to some bad teams. Ottawa. Listen, Edmonton's playing much better lately, so you got to take that into account here with the last night's game. But considering how we played against them in the first 2 games, it doesn't look good. So no, I don't think it's time to panic yet. But we're on the verge of that. So if they don't turn things around by the end of this break, and they face the Toronto in that first game back, we'll have to revisit this. And I think maybe then it's time to start panicking. Hopefully they'll work things out before the game tomorrow. And if not, over that 7-day period, they'll figure out what's wrong, they'll address it, and they'll move forward, and everything will be good. So that's my answer to the question. Is it time to panic yet? I don't think it's time to panic yet. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Am I wrong? Do you know better? What do you think about my points up here? Do that in the comment section. If you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. Subscribe, ring the notifications bell. That's going to get you your daily fix of Blue, Blanc, Rouge right here at Talking Habs. Thanks for watching, everybody. I do appreciate it. Thanks for listening to me babble away about panicking. And stay safe out there. Speaking of panicking, stay safe out there. Peace out, y'all. See you next video. I'm going to be live streaming before the game tomorrow. I'm also going to be putting out a preview before the game tomorrow. So look for that. And I'll see you there. Bye, everybody.